Welcome to our channel Beast Whisperer. In the vast heart of Masai Mara, where the golden grasses whisper ancient stories and predators roam free, a lone lioness made a choice that few would dare. She left her pride. Not because she was cast out, not because she was weak, but because her cub meant more to her than tradition, hierarchy, or safety. There had been tension in the pride, rivalries, dominance games, the kind that could turn fatal for a young cub. And so, without fanfare, she walked away, her tiny cub trailing behind on wobbly legs, trusting her with every fiber of his being. They wandered the open plains together, just the two of them, through sunrises that painted the sky in fire and nights that echoed with the calls of distant hunters. Every day was survival, every meal, a victory, every quiet night, a blessing. The mother hunted alone, dragged prey across the grass for her cub, and curled her body around him when the cold winds came. She had no backup, no pride to defend her, but what she had was something even more powerful: unbreakable love and a lioness's will to protect. Over time, they found a corner of the savannah where threats were rare. No rival males, no looming danger, just space to breathe. The cub thrived in the quiet. He pounced at grasshoppers, rolled in dust, swatted at his mother's tail with playful mischief. And she never let him out of her sight. Every glance, every breath, every heartbeat of hers was centered on him. Then came the day that changed everything. It was warm, peaceful, the kind of morning that makes you believe the wild can be kind. The cub was exploring near a trickling stream while his mother kept watch a few paces behind. The breeze was gentle, the sun was soft, and just ahead, partially hidden in the grass, something caught the cub's attention. A rusted iron cage. Curious, the cub padded forward, nose twitching, paws silent. His mother froze. Her eyes narrowed, her muscles tightened, but she didn't call him back, not yet. It looked old, abandoned. The cub sniffed, scratched at it, then stepped inside. And that's when the door slammed shut. The sound shattered the stillness. The mother sprang forward, roaring, a cry that carried across the grassland like a thunderclap. She threw herself at the cage, claws raking metal, teeth biting at the bars. Inside, the cub panicked, pressed against the far wall, letting out tiny cries of confusion and fear. But no matter how she clawed or bit, the cage wouldn't give. Minutes turned to hours. Her roars never stopped. She tried everything, pushing, pulling, pacing, circling, howling, but the trap was strong, designed to hold the wild, and now it held her world. The cub was growing weaker, his breath heavier. His eyes locked onto hers, silent but pleading. And then, as the sky began to shift from blue to dusk, a faint sound in the distance. A vehicle. Two rangers, Kofi and Abel, were making their routine rounds, scanning for illegal traps left behind by poachers. They weren't expecting anything unusual until they saw her, a lioness pacing furiously around a cage. Inside it, a cub, frightened and trapped. They froze. Every instinct told them to be cautious. A lioness protecting her cub was the most dangerous force in the wild. But something about her caught them off guard, not aggression, not rage, desperation. The two men whispered a plan. There was no time to get tranquilizers. The poachers could return at any moment. The cub wouldn't survive another night. They had to act now. Slowly, cautiously, they drove toward the cage. The lioness roared in warning. Abel tightened his grip on a defense stick. Kofi raised his hands gently, murmuring calm words. They were intruders. She had every reason to see them as threats. And yet, she didn't attack. Instead, she stood her ground, one paw pressed against the cage, as if to say, he stays here. No one takes him. It was an unspoken challenge, but also, maybe, a plea. Kofi moved slowly, pulling out the portable metal cutter. Sparks flew. The screech of grinding steel filled the air. The lioness twitched but held her place, eyes locked on every movement. Minute by minute, cut by careful cut, the bars began to give. Abel didn't blink. His eyes never left the lioness. Sweat soaked his collar. He was ready to bolt if she so much as twitched wrong. But she stayed, still, watching, trusting in her own primal way. And then, at last, the final bar broke free. The cub leapt out, shaken but alive. The mother lunged forward, not in attack, but in relief. She licked her cub frantically, nuzzled him, checked him over again and again. Her body trembled, her growl softened into something like a purr. Kofi stepped back, cutter in hand, heart pounding. Abel lowered the stick. Neither dared say a word. Then something happened they'd never forget. The lioness turned. She looked directly at them, not as prey, not as threat, but as something else, something closer to kin. And in that gaze, there was gratitude. Without a sound, she nudged her cub, turned toward the tall grass, and disappeared into the wild. But not before the cub looked back. One last glance at the men who had saved him. And then, they were gone. Kofi and Abel stood there for a long moment. The grass rustled. The wind sighed. The broken cage sat as silent witness to what had just unfolded. Later, they hauled the trap into their truck. It would serve as evidence, one less tool for poachers to harm the wild. But to them, it meant more than that. It was a symbol. A reminder that compassion and courage can bridge even the oldest divide between human and beast. That sometimes, even in the harshest places on earth, trust can bloom. And that day, under the African sun, 2 men and 1 lioness shared a bond that defied language. That's the kind of story we tell here on Beast Whisperer. True moments of connection, trust, and the silent language of love between humans and the wild.